But Rob, we saw what may be the last game of Tom Brady's career.
Chris,
possibly.
we just heard that sound. If you listen to that sound, because remember we talked about this last week. You know, like one day you wake up, Chris, and it's like I should be going to my kids' ball games. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I should be doing dad stuff, and I'm selfish, and I've played this long career, and maybe it's time. You know what I mean? To it just sounded kind of.
I don't think most guys get to that point because they don't play that. You know what I mean?
Right,
they're retiring at
Not
36.
20,
right. 44. I hear you, Rob. I feel like Brady, and we're going to get into the game and all that, but I feel like he wants to play. But like you just said, I mean, he's got the pulls from his family. And I mean, look, I don't know what it's like when your dad is a professional football player, but you know, is he spending all week? Because obviously just one game a week, but is he spending all week, pretty much all day studying film? You know what I mean? I mean,
right.
Looking at so I don't know. Does he not, what type of time he has or doesn't have for his kids, you know?
Right. Let's listen to the sound one more time, Chris, and then we'll get into the game. But just listen to this.
I have kids now too, you know, and I care about them a lot as well. They've been my biggest supporters. My wife is my biggest supporter. It pains her to see me get hit out there. And, you know, she deserves what she needs from me as a husband, and my kids deserve what they need from me as a dad.
Look, I think the wife, Giselle, is saying, look, Tom, I mean, what is there left to do?
Right. Other than you getting hurt.
Right.
Other than you getting seriously hurt.
You've been fortunate to not have a serious injury. You've played 22 years or whatever it is. Let's get out. You proved you could win without Belichick. I mean, remember she had made the comment about Belichick not treating him properly. So It's like you got away from him and won it without him. You've won the divorce. And Rob, here's the thing. I don't think Tampa Bay, I mean, they're going to lose some guys.
Oh, no, right. You remember they brought back all 22 starters. Right. That ain't happening, right?
Yeah, so I don't know what they're going to look like. And I think Gronk will retire,
Chris. I think he'll
really?
retire. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, I mean, he's done it once, obviously. And, yeah, it's just – I do think Brady really wants to play. I think he's his competitive drive is as great as ever. But – and it's tough, Rob. We've seen a few guys do it, but I think it's tough to leave when you've got stuff left in the tank. But here's the thing. When we saw it with Peyton Manning, Rob, it comes quickly. Remember Peyton Manning's last year, he was a shell of himself. The year before that, he was very good.
And just like over
right,
one season.
Just
right,
like that.
Right.
So you never know if you're Brady. And you'd hate to get into the, early in the season, Rob, 4 games in and realize I don't have it anymore.
Right.
You look bad, you know in your mind you're not that good anymore. But
I still think it comes down to what you said earlier, which is more so, Chris, or what his wife would be saying. Get out while you still have your health. Like what is there's nothing else to gain here.
No, not if he had won, let's say he had hypothetically won the Super Bowl this year or wins it next year.
It would have been
Does it add anything?
No,
I mean,
no.
His legacy is like ridiculous. It's
pretty much set, right?
7. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's there's nothing, absolutely nothing left to prove.
But you don't want to get snapped into, right? Other than getting hurt, seriously.
And quickly, before I know you want to get into Brady, the year before Peyton's second to last year, Rob, 39 touchdowns, 4,700 yards passing.
And then the next
last year, 9 touchdowns, 17 picks.
He was benched during that year.
Yeah, 2,200 yards passing. So that's how quickly it can happen. It was still like he's at the top of his game, right? He's looking great. And then all of a sudden he falls off. So yeah, I don't think he wants to retire, Rob, but it might be the smart move, the best move.
I thought yesterday was just a typical Brady, and I know a lot of people were watching, and all the Brady minions. Oh, I know, because Chris, you were excited when he tied the game, and everybody.
Well,
and
that was my pick,
No,
yeah.
I know. I'm just saying, when he tied it, because they shouldn't have been in that game. You even text later like the Bucs didn't deserve to win that game. I mean,
I wasn't even, Rob.
Right.
You know how we are. When you make a pick,
you want your pick to be right,
but
you were watching it.
I
you
wasn't
were like,
even upset.
Right.
Like
You're
when they
right.
lost, it was just like they didn't deserve. Yeah, I would have been hyped if they had won it, but it was like they didn't deserve that. They were totally stealing that game.
Totally. And that's what happens. And they needed the Rams to do what they did, Chris. I mean, 4 fumbles? I don't even know, Rob G. Did anybody ever did they make Chris or talk about the last time a playoff team lost 4 fumbles in a game?
Nah, it was, I mean, and even if you want to give them credit for the 3 fumbles by Kupp and Cam Akers, Cooper Kupp.
Right.
The snap over Stafford's head or to his right, when he wasn't even looking.
Right.
That is just total a blunder on the Rams' part. And then here's the other thing, Rob. Matt Gay, who obviously kicked the game-winning field goal, he missed a 47-yarder earlier, Rob, short. I can't remember the last time I saw a 47-yard kick short
right.
Unless it was terrible when, weather conditions.
And don't forget, one of those fumbles, too, Chris, was right before the first half ended at the 1-yard line.
Yep.
They should have been up 27-3. Yep. That game would have been over. I mean, it was just a comedy of errors. But Brady's luck finally ran out because Brady has had so many situations where it's worked out for him and teams have collapsed, folded. Now, obviously, he has to finish the job, Chris, once they turn it over to him. But the Rams gave him a chance to tie the game, and they could have easily been, say, they don't get the field goal that Stafford got at the end, and it goes into overtime. You don't get the ball. Brady throws a touchdown, and you lose. It could have been
Rob,
that easy.
Look, if they had stopped, I'm going to tell you this. Once they tied it up, I thought they were going to win the game.
That's what I'm saying.
I was a little concerned
because
42 seconds left is, as you said, we've seen it. That's enough time for a guy to get in field goal range. So I was a little concerned about that, but I felt like they're going to win it. They're going to get it to overtime. They got all the momentum, and it's going to be Rob, I honestly think, it's the Super Bowl, they were down 28-3 in the third quarter. Like, this to me almost felt more improbable than the Super Bowl when they came back on Atlanta.
Right.
It probably wasn't, but maybe I was just in the moment yesterday. But maybe it was the way it was happening, too. It was the fumbles left and right. And,
right.
The gas that the Rams were making. It was ridiculous.
Self-induced, right. And okay, so Rob G just sent me this note, Chris. According to Elias Sports Bureau research, the only team to lose a 24-point lead in a playoff game and still win was the Chargers in 1981.
Yeah. Wasn't that Miami? Was that Miami?
Was that game? That was a
out,
classic
Rob,
game.
Yeah.
I watched that game in the heat of Miami, and Kellen
you were
Winslow.
In Miami?
No. I meant watched.
Yeah.
Because
I was gonna say
I was young.
Kid.
I was a kid.
Yeah,
I was a kid. But I watched that game, and I remember Kellen Winslow walking off the field, Chris, with smoke. The moisture coming off his body.
Right.
Like it was so hot and humid down there for that game. And the Rams became the first team to win a playoff game after losing 4 or more fumbles since the 1975 Steelers in the AFC Championship. So that doesn't happen. You have to go all the way back to 1975.
Right.
And they were able to win. But I really think, this should be it for Brady. I think Brady, he's been fortunate. He's had a great career. He's been awful lucky. Take the sign. Your luck ran out this time, partner. Pack up your bags and decide, I don't want to get hurt. I don't want to go out like that. No one's going to be mad at you. You know what? Actually,
no, not at all.
And Chris, the way he went out with tying the game, you know what I mean? It's not like he went out and they got drubbed 45-3. Your lasting memory is Brady actually tying the game in a game they had no business tying.
Right, absolutely. Even though he certainly wasn't at his best, and he didn't play a great game. Stafford outplayed him. He did. He got him in position to win. You won't look at that and say, "Oh, Brady was horrible." I mean, he threw for 329, threw the tying. What was it? The tying touchdown,
right?
The 50-yarder beat Jalen Ramsey. So, and just what he did this regular season, Rob. this is as close as it gets to going out on top without winning a Super Bowl. You know,
No, I don't think it's a bad exit, Chris. It wouldn't be a bad exit.
Nope.
And you could also use the whole the Bucks are changing from what they were.
Absolutely.
Losing a lot of people. I don't want to rebuild or start over. We had a good team. Everybody's kind of moved on and things are going.
Yep.
If Gronk retires and some of these other guys leave for better offers, you know what I mean?
AB's gone. Well,
AB,
Godwin
right.
be gone. Who knows what'll happen with him? Nah, Rob, it's and that's the thing. Like, I only think, which is completely understandable, I think it'd be the case with anybody at that age. He only wants to play for a Super Bowl. And I just don't know that. I mean, it doesn't look like Tampa Bay is going to be in position to really seriously compete for one next year.
Right.
And so why, like, it would be, and we talked about, I mean, as much as I like Brady, I don't want to see him play till he's 50.
No, I don't either.
And I wouldn't want to see, not because it obviously won't taint his legacy, or not even because I like him and I don't want to see him look bad. It would just feel like if he's out there playing next year, Rob, and they're, 8-9, and, he's okay, but he's just, decent.
You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
Yeah,
right. They won 13 games this
right.
year. They were in the playoffs. They went to the second round, and they almost pulled out a miracle win and whatnot. So that would be good. Let me just give you this, Chris, one more thing about that 1981. The 1981, I was right. It was that playoff game. The epic in Miami.
Yeah, that
against
was
Miami.
Epic. I
In
remember watching
addition
that.
to his blocked field goal, Kellen Winslow, who was he's a Hall of Fame wide receiver, Chris. You remember him, right? Everybody does.
Yep.
Recorded an NFL playoff record, 13 receptions for 166 yards and a touchdown. Now, back then, that was a lot of.
Oh, yeah, man.
13 in one game was a lot. Lot, okay?
Right.
And he had numerous injuries during the game. And during the game, he also was treated for a pinched nerve in his shoulder, dehydration, severe cramps, and a gash on his lower lip that required stitches. It was an epic battle. One of the great.
It was 41-38, wasn't it? 41-38 was the score. And I remember, Rob, Tony Nathan. Remember the running back for Miami?
I do.
And he had like over 100 big game receiving, 100 yards or something receiving. Played big in that comeback. So
go watch that game.
Epic.
You should watch it. If you have a free, Saturday or something, you're not doing anything, watch that. It was an epic game.
That's when men were men back then.